Morning friends, happy Friday. And if there's one thing I love to read when I wake up on a Friday morning, it's all about self-made females investing in other females. And that investment could be time, money, resources, support, love, confidence. It doesn't really matter, but I love it that Meghan is self-made. She was a self-made millionaire before she even met Prince Harry, and she continues to show up and do good by investing in other female founders. So the coffee brand, numerous others, and the latest one is a product that's all about hair. And let's face it, Meghan has absolutely stunning hair. In the industry I work in, technology consulting, you don't always see women supporting other women. And actually, I think part of the glass ceiling in business generally is imposed by women that don't want other women to succeed. Meghan is breaking the mold on that approach. That approach should have died out in the 1950s. Go Meghan, invest in other people, turn up, do good. Absolutely love it. Comments are open as usual. Let me know what you think. Morning, friends. What's this? I genuinely didn't know anything about this until I woke up this morning, but it's great to see Harry being featured in the Climate 100, published by Time magazine, focusing on the most influential leaders, note that word leaders everyone, across the world who are bringing attention to climate change. And I'm not being funny, but I don't see any other members of the British royal family being included in this list. And I bet there's some minions running around Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace this morning who are not very happy about this. Let's pull out some of the major things that this award focuses on. I think it's really important to get the facts. This isn't a fluff award. So Time focus on the people across the globe that have tangible and measurable action. This isn't about puff pieces. It's not about getting the media on your side. It's not about saying you're going to do things and then not delivering. It's about commitment. Well done, Harry. Apologies for using my notes. It's early and this is a new thing. Comments are open. As ever, let me know what you think. Climate change is a real thing. We do need to do something about it. The rest of the British working taxpayer-funded royal family, what are you doing about it? Zero. Have a brilliant Wednesday, guys. Catch up tomorrow. Morning, friends. Happy Saturday. And huge news coming out of the UK. Prince Harry is one of only 2 people that are continuing their legal action against Murdoch Group and The Sun. Everybody else has dropped out of the race. Everyone else has taken a large payoff, if you know what I'm saying. And one of those people that took a large payoff early in the proceedings was actually William. We don't know what the settlement amount is, but the most interesting thing is that Harry's progression to full trial will force the British not working royal family to reveal the emails between themselves and the Murdoch Group. And the rumours are abound that William actually negotiated a payoff for himself on the basis that he would also convince Harry to drop that legal action, which Harry has not done. Yes, I know it's like something out of the plot of Dallas, but this is the real world in 2024 in the UK. What do those emails between Charles, William and the Murdoch Group say? Is there incriminating evidence in those emails from William saying, yeah, don't worry, we'll get everyone on board, including Harry. Just pay me off and we'll see what happens. Well, do you know what, William? Your plan has failed because Harry is going to court. And the public like us will see, may see, evidence, more evidence of what the royal family are really like and the deals they're prepared to make to save themselves. Lastly, huge thank you to Xandy Sussex over on X Twitter. Go and follow her for setting us up with the commentary and the images. Have a brilliant Saturday, guys. I'm off to yoga. That's why I look a bit invisible. Morning, friends. Happy Friday. I'm in a good mood, as you can see. Hope you are too. But just before we jump into this OK Magazine article, did you know that Sky News, the organisation that broke the pre-cancer cells versus cancer story, have now reverted to the original cancer story? I wonder how many letters they got from Kensington Palace lawyers before they reverse their point of view. Anyway, very confusing. Thank you, OK Magazine USA. You've encapsulated the British taxpayers' thoughts exactly, with one exception. We are not royal critics. We are just reasonable people who expect to be told the truth by the media. If a story changes, we want to know why, because we employ our critical thinking skills rather than just believe everything that we are fed. And as a British taxpayer, of course, we fully support the royal family financially, not emotionally. Important distinction there. And because we support them financially, we expect to be told the truth. It's as simple as that. If a story changes, we want to know why. Comments are open. Have a brilliant Friday. Let me know what you think. Morning, guys. And before we jump into this one, many thanks to Grazia for setting us up with this image and the commentary today. And actually, interestingly, this was published before the Church of England Justin Letby child scandal came to light. So by association, things sadly look even worse for William now because of the royal family and their ability to surround themselves with people who are child offenders. Anyway, get to the point, Martin. What's next for Prince William after the PR disaster? And the PR disaster really was Africa and Earthshot. Why was it a PR disaster for him and for Earthshot? Because he made it all about himself. He took the focus away from the lucky winners of the Earthshot prizes and made it all about himself and his family and his worst year ever. And my take on this story, and as we always say it on this channel, right, guys, the press know more than we do. So Grazia, by default, being part of the media, know what's really behind this and why they're able freely to take a pot shot at William in this very definite and direct way. I'm sure they know what's really happening behind the scenes between William and Catherine. Part of me does feel sorry for William. Whatever he does now, because of his history and laziness and allegations that have been made in the press and the fake photos of Kate, and the list goes on and on and on, right? Whatever he does now, he's going to be Gerald Ratner. If you don't know who Gerald Ratner, R-A-T-N-E-R is, Google him. William will always be associated with that type of disaster. Whatever he does now, recovery is pretty impossible. Morning, friends. Happy Thursday. Is Charles a bad judge of character? Is he just in the wrong place at the wrong time? We had lots of people in the comments asking us to open this story more, but believe me, it's bigger than this story. Firstly, thanks to Katerina over on X or Twitter for putting this montage of images together and setting us up with this commentary. So is Charles a bad judge of character, or does he accidentally surround himself with the wrong people? If you didn't know, one of Charles's closest friends was Jimmy Savile. Jimmy Savile is undoubtedly one of the UK's worst offenders. He lots of minors, children all over the UK, including some that were hospitalised in a coma, unconscious or severely disabled. He really was of a man. Charles was frequently seen with him in the 70s, 80s and 90s. And there's lots of correspondence between Charles and Jimmy Savile, written letters that have been sold at auction. They were incredibly close, as Charles was close with Stuart Hall, Rolf Harris, the list goes on and on. Rolf Harris actually painted several members of the senior royal family. Obviously, those paintings have been taken down now, but that's how close he was to the royal family in general. So for Charles, it doesn't look good. And, you know, that supports the theory about why all the stories about Harry and Meghan are starting to leak out now, yet again, in this familiar cycle of distraction to take our eyes and ears away from the type of people that Charles hangs around with. Comments are open as ever. Would love your opinion. Have a brilliant day, guys. Morning, friends. Stop the world. I think we all want to get off, and I bet you didn't have this one on your bingo card, because it turns out that Justin Welby's failure to deal with offenders within the Church of England is all Harry and Meghan's fault. Yes, you couldn't make this stuff up. Clearly, it's not really. And if you wanted any more proof that literally the Daily Mail is in the King's financial, if you know what I mean, pocket, this is it. I find this absolutely incredible that in a time when the royal family should be apologising for stealing tens of millions of pounds from charity and the NHS over decades, they are continuing to use and drop stories like this to portray Harry and Meghan as bad people. And this will backfire because there's no credibility behind the story whatsoever. Just before I go, let me tell you that this individual that was charged with child offences, the most disgusting type, by the way, King Charles wrote this guy letters of support. Let that sink in for a moment. Charles supported a guy accused of 130 disgusting child Comments are open, guys. Have a brilliant Wednesday. Let me know what you think. Morning, friends. The Kate Middleton drama rolls on as ever. Did you really expect anything else? And this time, Narinda's been dragged into it. Disclaimer, I do not know Narinda. I've never met her. I've got nothing to gain or lose by making this TikTok. But I did exactly the same thing as Narinda has done here, probably about 5 weeks ago, because the British digital media consistently manipulate and Photoshop Kate's face to make her look much younger than she does in real life. Therefore, when we get a shot of how she looks in real life, people are like, oh my God, what has happened? How has she gone from looking 25 to not looking 25? And it's an obvious observation from anyone, whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. When you see someone looking substantially different to how they looked in your mind a week ago, of course you are going to ask a question about what happened. It's natural human curiosity. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means you've been deceived by the media. If you don't believe me, look at the difference between this image here in the daytime and the images that the digital media released of Kate at the Royal Albert Hall the evening before. It's almost as though Kate is a completely different person. Have a brilliant Tuesday, Goose Day. Have a brilliant Goose Day or Tuesday, whatever you want to call it. Comments are open as ever, guys. Let me know what you think. Morning, friends, and what a way to be put on the bench by your own family. Yes, we're talking about Kate Middleton. Yes, we're talking about Remembrance Day. Yes, we are talking about the event at the Cenotaph. In 2022 and 2023, Kate and William shared the same wreath and wrote a card in their own handwriting themselves. Kate's signature in her own handwriting is clearly visible. In 2024, William laid his own wreath with his own name on it. And the royalists in the comments, stop. Kate did not have her own wreath. There is no other wreath that represents anything from Kate or William or Kate and William combined. What does this mean for the bigger messaging coming out of the British royal family? Well, in my opinion, when Kate appeared to be upset on the balcony, it was the exact moment William laid this and she realised, crikey, I haven't signed a card this year. Maybe they don't live together, who knows? That, in my opinion, is when she became upset. Bigger picture, I honestly think Kate is a fool, but I do feel incredibly sorry for her. I think she knows they roll her out when they're in crisis. I don't think she realised until this moment that actually she is ultimately disposable. I think William's done this deliberately to show they're not living together. It's part of a longer drip, drip, drip media strategy. When Kate is allowed to speak in the future, choose my words carefully, and we all realise they're not together anymore, this will be part of seeding the story. So it will just be not news. Oh, everybody knew anyway. What's the drama? As ever, comments are open. Happy Tuesday. Let me know what you think. Morning, friends. Let's try again because it would appear that TikTok have accidentally removed my upload from this morning. I wonder if these two characters you can see on the screen right now have lawyers working overtime, paid for by me and you, by the way, to make sure that no one is able to criticize them. So let's take a different tact on this one. I will tell you what a brave lady looks like to me, and it's not this person here. A brave lady is someone I know from volunteering at my local food bank. She works and has 3 jobs. The first job starts at 7 o'clock in the morning when she cleans offices. Then she's a hairdresser in the daytime. Then she works in a pub in the evening. Single mum, not claiming a penny from the state, grafting her little bottom off to make sure her 3 kids have a good lifestyle, feel loved, feel safe and secure, and have nice things and nice food in that household. That's what brave looks like to me, not this person here. I'm sorry, I've said it. This one might get removed too. Comments are open. Let me know what you think. Well, it appears that Kate is brave because she managed to stand on a balcony yesterday and watch the Remembrance Sunday events from afar. What we do know, guys, is that this sycophantic media circus where the British royal family are praised for doing anything that any other normal human being would do, this sycophantic media circus has to end. Kate is not brave. We know now from digital media that the cancer story was incomplete. That's all I'm going to say. It was incomplete and the story was overblown to make Kate look like a victim and a hero, someone fighting cancer. We all know now that's not true. Last week as well, major revelations about this family of liars and thieves, quite frankly, taking money directly from the pocket of the NHS and charities all over the UK. This scenario that we're forced to watch of rolling Kate out like a one-trick pony is a deflection technique. Poor Kate, let's all feel sorry for her. Let's forget the misdemeanors and the crimes that the royal family regularly undertake. It's time for change in 2025, guys. Happy Monday. Comments are open. Let me know what you think. Maybe Buckingham Palace watch my TikTok. Who knows? Morning, friends. I asked this same question days ago. Where did Andrew suddenly get the money from to remain in his royal lodge, which is actually a mansion with a commercial rentable value of £1 million a year? That tells you just how big it is, right? Andrew has had a habit for decades with hanging round with some pretty unsavoury characters, if you know what I'm saying, including Jeffrey Epstein, who he admits he took money from. Andrew now suddenly has a lot of money from decades hanging round with very unsavoury people. Taking money from other people was what got him in the mess in the first place, right? And it seems he's not learned his lesson. Buckingham Palace are now asking him where he got the money from, and it's a valid question to ask from anyone, including every single taxpayer in the UK. Because of dispatches, we now know that this guy lives in a family of thieves, and with his track record, plus the thieving allegations, it's not really looking good for any of them, is it? Happy Sunday, have a brilliant day, comments are open, let me know what you think. Morning, friends. Well, if you ever wanted any proof that the digital Daily Mail lives in the King's pocket, this article is the proof for you. The digital Daily Mail are telling us that he radiated warmth when he landed at the Royal Albert Hall for the Remembrance Day evening celebrations last night. How anyone can radiate warmth is beyond me. But particularly this Scrooge, this mean, this angry old character called King Charles, who we understood last week has literally siphoned tens of millions of pounds a year from charities across the UK. This guy, cancer survivor, cancer fighter, annual income of £50 million, including money stolen from charities, unlimited wealth, time, resource, access to the best healthcare and the doctors on the planet, and he still cannot go and see his grandchildren in California. This guy is the modern Scrooge. This guy has no warmth in him. I don't even know whether his heart beats anymore. Comments are open. Apologies for my rant. Let me know what you think.
I just find it crazy that we're all out here struggling. I'm like, ooh, should I buy myself lunch? But I probably shouldn't get myself lunch because I spent quite a lot this weekend. Everyone has to be so tight with their money. Cost of living crisis. The NHS is in crisis. Nurses are using food banks. People are worried about Christmas. And meanwhile, up there, in that castle, is living a family of billionaires for no reason other than being born into this family, and we are paying for them. I just can't get my head around it, how that is normal and how that is acceptable in 2024. I find it fucking insane. And if you ask these people who are walking around on the street here, most of them will probably say that they think this is great. This is part of our culture. We should be really happy that this random family ordained by God is living in this literal castle while people can't get doctor's appointments, can't afford to feed their children. But we should be really happy because of the tourism, which I think is the most pathetic excuse ever.
The Times woke up today and said, if you think those ratings from the We Can End Homelessness documentary by Prince William were bad, check out these numbers. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say this is explosive, extensive reporting, 5 months of reporting from the Times that culminated in this Duchy Files investigation piece, revealed the property empires that make Charles and William millions. The Sunday Times uncovered every plot of land owned by the ancient duchies of Lancaster and Cornwall. We're talking over 5,000 plots of land here. And oh boy, does this tweet from former BBC correspondent Peter Hunt feel even more apt today. He tweeted that William could make a significant impact on homelessness if he accepted a fixed income in return for giving up his vast Duchy of Cornwall estate. Even just for starters, give charities a break that are renting buildings on your property. Here's what's important to know. There are a couple different ways that royals get their money. If you would like a more in-depth look into the cost of the crown, this series by The Guardian from May 2023, around the time of King Charles's coronation, is incredible. When we talk about duchies, we're not talking about the sovereign grant. The sovereign grant is funded by, quote, an agreed upon percentage of the income that the government-run crown estate makes by managing land surrendered by the monarch 260 years ago. David Cameron, when he was prime minister, really sweetened the deal because they can never get less than what the previous year was. They are guaranteed to receive the same amount, if not more. And if it falls short for any reason, the crown estate, the government has to make up the difference. Then there are the private incomes of the sovereign and the heir apparent. That comes from profits generated by duchies. So there's two duchies. The first one is the Duchy of Lancaster. That was previously Queen Elizabeth's. Now it is obviously King Charles. And then when Queen Elizabeth passed, the Duchy of Cornwall, which had previously been Charles, the Prince of Wales's, went to Prince William. What's really cool? It's not cool. They don't pay capital gains tax. They don't pay income tax. They pay income tax voluntarily. The king and the prince both pay income tax voluntarily at the highest level, 45%, but oops, in 2021 to 2022, Charles only paid $5.9 million of an income tax, which amounted to only 25%, but that's because he deducted expenses that he considered related to his official duties. People in Britain can't afford to heat their homes in some cases in the winter. What are we doing here? Will says he does the same thing as his father, but guess what? Since 2022, we have not seen how much they have paid in taxes. And the Queen did not declare how much she paid in taxes. But what's even grosser is the slummy landlord nature of it all. NHS will end up paying the King's Duchy £11 million over 15 years to rent warehouses for ambulances. The Army has to pay to train on Dartmoor, the Navy to moor, and to refuel its fleet. Both William and Charles trained at the college as naval cadets. This one is Ugh. Ministry of Justice pays William's Duchy £1.5 million a year to use Dartmoor Prison. Part of the profits from his duchy come from the continuation of imprisoning people. I don't know if this is technically a for-profit prison, but it's certainly profiting William. There's so much more in this piece, but this is just initial reactions. I'm of course going to look at the coverage by the British media and royal reporting, although I don't expect much. I expect that this will be swiftly cast aside or ridiculed, ignored, or someone will send some intrepid reporter to Montecito and see if Meghan's wearing a $500 organically raised woolen sweater while hiking or something like that. The thing is, when you really get down to the money aspect and where the royals put their money, it casts a really different light on what they say they're about, and also their limitations. Because a lot of times we hear, well, they can't do that. They're not the government. They can't be in politics. Well, you know what they could do? They could give up their duchies or part of their duchies, accept a fixed income, because nobody needs this much money. And remember, it's on top of the money that they get from the sovereign grant. I think that's part of the reason why William's documentary fell a bit flat. How can you talk about we can solve homelessness when you could make one of the biggest impacts? I really think that if the royals made some changes and said we don't want to be exempt from certain tax laws, or we are going to show our tax returns every year, we will show that I feel like there are so many little things that they could do that would kind of quell people who are like, I'm not really into the monarchy because of all the finance stuff. Like, oh, why do we pay for this? I think it would go a long way. And it's so weird to me that they won't take those steps. But maybe it shouldn't be. Maybe it shouldn't be at the end of the day when there's money involved. Or it shouldn't be when you don't have a press that will hold you accountable. They don't want to risk it either because they make money off of you. There's going to be so much more to come. I need time to go over everything, but I will be back with more videos. Some really quick follow-up from my earlier video about the Times investigation with Channel 4 into the duchies. First of all, there's a misconception that the Times is not a part of the Royal Rota. I've seen a lot of people say, see, this is the kind of reporting that can happen, but not in the Royal Rota. The Times isn't in the Rota. That's not true. The Royal Rota is about a dozen or so journalists that are from newspapers and tabloids with hard copy circulation in the UK, included the Times and the Sunday Times. This piece was not written by the royal editor. That's part of the Royal Rota. And the Times does have some fantastic reporting. Remember, they are the ones that exposed the Charles paper bags briefcase of money for honor scandal. Also now know is that this right here wasn't exactly accurate. LOL destroyed the Duke's reputation. He's squatting in a royal lodge and has been seen out at family events. Yeah, he's oof, just a mess. As our very own Steve Kornacki of Royal Reporting pointed out, Peter Hunt, we now know that taxpayers' money from government departments and the NHS goes to the Duchy of Lancaster, right? It funded the late Queen and now the King. That is the private wealth that helped settle Andrew's legal case. It might not come from the sovereign grant, but the idea that the income from the duchies doesn't involve fees imposed on people, on the army, on the navy, in order to rent buildings, as is the case with the NHS, or on William's duchy, a prison, leasing offshore wind farms, drilling, in so many ways. This money does come from the people. I think this kind of information pushes back and exposes some of the issues in the royals are generally harmless and bring in a ton in tourism dollars, which we can't really actually calculate. But just because they don't have overt political power doesn't mean that there isn't power. I think it would be very hard to make a compelling argument on why they should continue to have these duchies. A lot of people have come on my page to say Dartmoor Prison doesn't actually house any prisoners now, but they leave one important part out. That's only been since August 2024, and it was because high levels of radon were found. That is the only reason it's currently empty. But leaving that detail out is either intentional or because, understandably, a lot of us don't have time to do further digging and research into these stories to say, oh, they don't have prisoners. Why don't they have prisoners? When did they stop housing prisoners? The prison is temporarily closed. That doesn't change the fact that they are paying for the building for the year 2024 and maybe already have a contract for 2025 and beyond. I was obviously being tongue-in-cheek when I said for-profit prisons. I understand that this is not a for-profit prison in the US sense. What I said, though, is that as long as it continues to be rented for the purpose of housing prisoners, William, therefore, is making money off of a prison, off of prisoners. Anyway, I'm glad we could clear that up. My first thought when I saw the reporting from the Times about the duchies, the property empires that make Charles and William millions, how is the Royal Rota going to cover this? Be clear, what I'm looking at is what the Royal Rota wrote. These are the individuals that represent a dozen or so papers, mostly hard copy circulations in the UK that are newspapers or tabloids. The royal editors. Who could have seen this one coming? Yes, the ever important time will tell if Harry and Meghan will stay together. Don't worry, an expert named Phil said that it doesn't look good, so, let's look at what the Telegraph has to say. Prince William is evolving into global statesman, says Palace ahead of South Africa trip. My mother also says I'm the bestest, goodest TikToker out there. As I have discussed before, this whole William as a global statesman, which just a couple of years ago, he was being critiqued for being work shy and not stepping up and taking on duties for his elderly grandmother. And now they're literally telling you that they're taking this messaging from Kensington Palace. It's just wild. Here's the Daily Mail and the Royal Rota domestic captain just talking about rugby skills. It's that hard-hitting news that everyone needs. There are pieces on the Times investigation, but they are from the education editor or the home affairs correspondent, but never members of the Royal Rota, because the Royal Rota doesn't report on the royal family. They regurgitate talking points and act as PR. The argument for the Rota in the first place was because of all of the excitement and frenzy over Princess Diana that they needed a better way to secure events, spacing issues. And the argument from the press, I think rightly, was that people deserve to know what is going on with the British royal family, in particular, public duties. Pretty clear at this point that whether those intentions were good or not from the beginning, it's a complete mess at this point. There's no reason for it to exist, except for the fact that they both depend on this to exist. Because for a Royal Rota editor, this is a plush prime position. You can pay your mortgage on it. You can make your money. For the royal family, yeah, having royal editors that won't actually question you and will accept whatever morsels you throw their way, as long as you keep giving them positive coverage. Flat out, the Royal Rota does not serve the public. It is time for the royal appointment. I'm not gonna lie, with America's hard right shift and continued hatred of women, I didn't think I had a royal appointment in me this week. But oh boy, thank you for this precious morsel as I grieve what might have been the last real free and fair election. I hate it here. When I saw this subject line, I said, oh, we are in for a treat. How Trump stole Prince William's thunder. As the kids say, it's giving Delulu. The absolute audacity of the United States to not consider in their scheduling Prince William's Earthshot Prize, as if presidential elections in the United States have not been on the Tuesday after the first Monday in November every 4 years since the beginning of time. It is quite predictable that they left out the first American Black Southeast Asian woman that he was running against. All eyes are on America and the rising authoritarian state and how that is going to impact, especially economically, the entire world. I mean, talk about an Earthshot. It is occasionally stunning, the incompetency of the teams around these people. But really, I feel like you should thank the presidential election because it sure took a lot of heat off of your duchy investigation. In South Africa, the prince has discussed the urgency to inject urgent optimism into the sector. He also gave some insight into life at home. They turn off lights. They diligently sort their recycling, and they minimize their water use. This is great, but even though you do own a lot of houses, I don't think that's gonna cut it. We are past the point of injecting optimism into really anything. It is like mission critical. No surprise here, but the article goes on to discuss President-elect Trump. We're so stupid. This piece goes on to discuss President Trump, but never once talks about the many ways in which Trump spent his first presidency dismantling efforts to combat climate change, leaving the Paris Climate Agreement. Quote, then on the day of the actual Earthshot Prize came the results of the US election to sweep the newspaper front pages and TV bulletins. This is embarrassing. Who is planning these trips? It's not like this guy has a packed schedule. Like, choose a different week. But of course, this Trump victory is relevant to the royal family, whose job it is to exude that soft power the monarchy is often lauded for. In case you're wondering, how right-wing could this paper possibly be? Well, the Heritage Foundation, because we're going to talk about the Sussexes. We're going to work them in there. Apparently, a Heritage Foundation think tank campaign has revealed that Harry's visa application no longer seems to have entirely gone away. That's not the deportation that they have their eye on. That's not the deportation that the base wants to see. It hasn't gone away because the Heritage think tank is not allowing it to go away because they are absolute filth. If you kind of think about it, the royal family got kind of the best deal. They don't have to actually rule in any real way, and the media tricks people into believing that they have no actual power or that they're benevolent and harmless and, you know, just pretty and nice to have around. They still get, like, all the perks without actually having to lead. It's like, it's kind of not a bad gig, I'm not gonna lie. That's not bad.
Well, you heard about that investment. And yes, Meghan has beautiful hair. You just can't tell because, well, the racism is blowing off your hair. That's why y'all have whatever you have on there. Because y'all do think black women don't have hair. We have thick hair. Lots of hair on our heads. So yeah. Women supporting women. That's what Meghan Markle does. She does it well. God bless you, the Duchess of Sussex. Meghan Markle. Meanwhile, what is Kate doing? Did y'all guys see? Kate, they came up with this big article here. I didn't want to post it on here to piss everybody off. It says like Kate is blaming Meghan because of her husband and Prince Harry's rift. So apparently Meghan is not wanting them to let this conflict go. So apparently because of Meghan, Prince Harry does not want to let the rift go. And Kate went to the newspaper people. Apparently she want to play a movie. She want to become a producer. Yes, you heard me right. Kate Middleton want to become a producer to produce a movie about Meghan Markle being on the way of the reconciliation between two brothers. I don't know if this woman is not a witch. I don't know what you guys call a witch. With everything that this lady did, right now she is literally sitting out here and blaming Meghan. These people have no souls. This woman, this social climber, Middleton, she ain't got no soul. Can you believe a woman who is also around some people who really are suffering. The people who really have the diagnosis of big C. And she came out here with a lie. And right now they're saying that royal reporter came out with lies. How could a person who is mandated to report on you coming out here with a lie? If he did, he or is, if I don't even know the gender of these people, if they even have gender. I don't know if it's a man who wrote that article saying that Mick Mumbles did not have big C, or it's a female, or it's a man. I don't even know. But I read the article. In my book, social reporters, I say social report, royal reporters, royal whatever you call those people, tabloids, those people are mandated to report the facts and the truth and all the fabricated lies about the royals. In my book, I do not believe Middleton had any big C. There were cells, the precancerous cells discovered in her body, which is everybody's cells out here. You know, these people do, the doctors do predict these cells and whatever there with whatever happening to the cells, it could turn cancerous. It could become a malignant cancer cell, which does not mean you do have a big C. And how can a reporter who is mandated to report about you, who's getting paid with all this Brexit recession, you did it to yourselves. And it's exactly the same way how the MAGA did it to us here. And you guys, MAGA, Brexited. And with the Brexit came the recession. And with the recession, this person who wrote that article would not just sell their career or sell their position or just report lies to lose their remuneration coming from that monarchy, and just lie. That person did not lie. That person actually came out here and told y'all guys the truth. That person, the royal roader, that guy or that woman who came out here, spilled the tea about McMambo's big C. That person, that royal reporter, royal expert, the person who went to college to learn everything about monarchy, that one, they call him royal expert. That person told you all guys the truth. How do you lie by writing an article and writing it very carefully, choosing words, selecting words, and put them in writing? You can't be sitting down there writing lies. We know people do come around here write about fiction. We know people do come out here write made up stuff. But what I'm going to tell you, this person did not make that up. The person told you guys the truth. So let's wait. Let the production begin. Everything that Prince Harry does, you all guys want to do. Prince Harry produces. Shows with actual foundation. Actual foundation produces shows. So all of a sudden out here, bullying want to come to produce the mockery on homelessness. And which he did. And the backlash, brother, wagwan. What happened to that show? Did you all guys happen to watch it? Please, guys, send me some sequences of that video in my email. You got my email up here. Send them to me. Because I haven't seen nothing. Did y'all guys see anything in the United States of America here, y'all guys? My brothers, my sisters, my queens. How y'all guys doing? How y'all my queens doing? How you doing, my beautiful... How you doing, all my kings around here? How y'all doing? Y'all know I love you. So y'all, come on with the gossip. Wagwan. What was in that documentary? What was inside? This dude came and make fun of the poor people. And meanwhile, he got all them houses. The houses are not well maintained. No electricity. It's winter right now. Do you see my coat? Yes, it's cold. Yes, freeze out here. Yeah, this is Colorado, y'all. It gets really cold here. I ain't going out there, but I will record that snow for y'all guys. I'll record it next time because right now I'm freezing. So I need to finish this video here. I try to drink me some hot tea. Yeah, I don't really like coffee that much. I try to drink like less those ones. I want to keep my teeth. My Timu teeth. Teeth from Timu. Well, my mama gave birth to those teeth, but I just used the Timu powder that I told you all guys about. So that Timu powder, see, it whitens my teeth. Yeah, so that Timu teeth, I don't like messing up with all those coffee stuff. But y'all, bring the juice. Bring me the juice. Those houses. Y'all heard everything that Meredith told y'all? So this guy owns prisons, owns properties where the NHS, their medical system, stores their ambulances, bambulas. They do store all those on this dude's property. The Prince of Wales. The dude who inherited that Lancaster. No, not Lancaster. Cornwall. Conroe. So that dude, everything that Prince Harry does, he also want to do it. Now his wife also want to become a producer. She want to produce movies about Meghan Markle. I cannot make this thing up. I'm telling you, I'm going to look for that video. I'll bring it down here for you guys. I watched it somewhere. It pissed me off. That's why I did. Yeah, that article said, make Mambo. Make Mambos want to become a producer to produce a movie. about Meghan Markle refusing to reunite the brothers. Apparently, according to that article, Meghan Markle told Prince Harry, if you do make peace with these people, you ain't gonna see your children. But guess what? I wish that was me. And guess what? That would be exactly what I would tell my husband. After all that these people did to Meghan Markle, Meghan, you just too cute. You know, I would drag these people around and I'll give them the test of them on their medicine. Oh, they wouldn't like me, I tell you that. And I would write the article out here. I would call that Bazaar magazine. And tell the Bazaar, tell them I do not like them. In fact, abolish the monarchy. I would write some terrible articles coming straight from my mouth if I was you, Meghan Markle. They are lucky. They're damn lucky. These people ain't got no shame. And I'm sure this article was written by some kind of a licensed liar tabloid. Because I doubt a person like this Middleton has the power to write a script about anything, even if it's a family related, that she has the script in her head and she created half of this nonsense with just enough. She still can't put anything together. She can't write. Everything that she comes out here to read to y'all guys is written by somebody else. Because you know, when you write something, it's easy for you to follow the punctuations. It's easy for you to follow where there is a comma and full stop. You're gonna be articulated when you are reading, when you wrote it by yourself, because you know what you wrote. But you do see how she reads everything that's written to her. She can't even follow the rules of punctuation. The example was that little paper that they gave to her when our wonderful First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, was with her somewhere. I don't know if it was in the UK or it was in the United States or America. You know, I don't be following lots of those Middleton nonsense. I don't follow her that much. She's not that interesting to me. I started following all her nonsense after her mentioning Prince Archie's skin color. Then I even know who she is after that. Before, I wasn't really paying much attention about that person. After that allegation, that's when I started discovering how she was popular on the yacht, how she was a tall girl on the yacht, how she was exposing herself on there, how she was hanging around William's uncle and sharing bed with him, the Peter Prince. Oh, y'all, if y'all guys thinking I'm lying, just go Google. Her friend came and said here, her and the Peter Prince, they did it. Don't be saying my name. I did not say nothing. I be reading everything from there. Yeah, she came and said stuff about my nephew. And guess what? I'ma show up. Oh, Prince Archie, I show up for you anytime. And my little niece a little bit, I show up for you too, niece. I show up. Oh, they won't like it. Make mumbles. So write that script. Bring that show out here. Produce it. Okay? Do it. People gonna watch it. And I'm gonna drag you. Because I know you ain't got no shame. Did you happen to fix those patty pieces? Or the business just disappeared, huh? The patty pieces that belong to your mama. Looks like she even drank the rest of little money that was remaining there, the one she should have taken to pay the creditors. Now drank it. Oh, that lady. Oh, you know that lady with bottles, she doesn't play. She does not play. She don't play. That lady with bottles. And you telling me William did not have no money to save that patty pieces, and that dude owns all this money and owns all these properties? He did not have money to save that family, huh? A billionaire's father-in-law and mother-in-law went bankrupt. And I heard Pippa also got married to somebody with old money. And even that dude could not save that petty pieces. Well, maybe it's time for you to make that movie about Meghan Markle and try to save your family. It's just taking a little bit too long. Your husband actually paid these tabloids to drag your mama. They dragged her down here. Drugged her. Well, she looked to climb the ladder. This is what you get. You want to put your feet in some shoes that doesn't fit you, that's not your size. You wear size 8 and then you buying size 11 and a half. This is exactly what you get. So writing any movie about Meghan ain't gonna save you, girl. But just try us. Try us. Write the script and bring the documentary out here about Meghan Markle. You're gonna find the success squad and call me Lady Rose Success. Yes. You never been drugged by the tabloids. And here, we're gonna drag you upside down. And these few days here, people are talking about the Queen escort. I'm telling you, you know, these people, are you guys paying attention? Are you? Remember this Queen consort. The Queen escort. The Queen escort. Let me put it well. Remember the Queen escort was getting bad press these few days around here? Did y'all guys watch bad press about the Queen escort? So these people, every single time they get bad press, they become sick. Anytime they start getting any bad press, they get some kind of serious health condition, and they are advised by their primary care physicians not to show up to the out to the public. All of a sudden, they started removing stuff from their calendars. Because remember, there were lots of stuff going on about this lady. She was mocking some tradition, I believe, in that place. Was it a Tonga? One of them places where they went, where they are people of color. She was mocking those people's tradition. And some people came out here, they drugged her. And she went there, some people recorded her when she was bottling herself. Y'all know what I mean. She was doing that. She was a Ruski standarding herself. There you go. The correct word. Reba. My queen, how you doing, Reba? Ruski standard. She was a Ruski standarding herself. They saw her sway. She be drinking apple wine. The queen escort ended up with no shoes on. She be doing herself. And baby, the internet doesn't sleep. They came, drugged the queen escort, drugged her. Next thing you know, queen escort was advised by her primary physician to cancel her engagements. Isn't this very common to y'all guys? When these people get drugged about some reality, facts, they disappear. That's what they do. And that's exactly what the queen escort is currently doing. She pulled out, canceled the engagements. These people. Did y'all see the nomination of our prince, our brother-in-law, the prince of them all, the prince of England, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex? Did y'all see that weather-related article? Weather-related nomination? And meanwhile, this dude here came from South Africa. He also went to talk about the similar thing, but we did not see his name nowhere. Do the work. Let the world talk about you the way the world is speaking highly of Prince Harry, because he really does help lots of projects out here. You all know the Travelocity that belongs to him. It's his agency. And through that, they do talk about climate change. which you guys, this guy here who's gonna go into the White House in a few days, he said it was a hoax. But Prince Harry got a recognition for his contribution. Yeah, did y'all see this guy? This archbishop of this people's church? I'm not gonna say much. It looks like my camera is dying. We're gonna come talk about that dude more. But that guy resigned because of the allegation of the pedo that he helped cover. And did you all see the article behind the Ministry of Hacks? Y'all go follow the brother on TikTok. It says that dude actually baptized George, Charlotte, and Louis, both of them. And these people are dirty. I love you. I'm gonna talk to you all guys in a few more days. Bye for now. Please subscribe to Isabella Back's channel. Subscribe to my brother Baron's channel, The Royal Success. And share my videos. And like my video, leave comments. We're gonna talk again. My camera is almost dying right now, so I don't want to I didn't want to stop this right here, but guess what? We're going to continue. We're going to talk about these people. They invited us into their lives. And guess what? We were sitting down here minding little black ladies' businesses. And some of men were sitting down here minding little black man business. But guess what? They drugged us into their business. Guess what? We show up. We're going to show up. For our people, we're going to show up. And we're gonna show up for you too, brother Prince Harry. We love you. And I talk to you guys. Bye for now. I wanted to talk about this guy so bad. This camera, please. That dude, what is his name? Justice, the guy. But you'd be surprised the guy is a pedo himself. And those are buddies with the Charlie Boy. And Charlie Boy is his boss. And Charlie Boy also is the head of that church. So Charlie Boy also helped to cover that mess. So Charlie Boy with all those people, they are same. Pedo. You know, I'd be silly as hell. These people.